Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Beam, 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 bum. 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 Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. I was gonna Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Hine matovu manayim, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet akim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom on this snowy, snowy day. And I think today we're counting the people under 12 into the minyan. And then we'll be fine. People on YouTube are counting too. Shabbat Shalom. And if you have a prayer book and you're able to read, please join me on page 2 with a reading, that begins with, "We are called unto life." Shabbat Shalom. We are called unto life, destiny uncertain, yet we offer thanks for what we know, for health and healing, for labor and repose, for renewal of beauty in earth and sky, for that blend of human holy which inspires compassion, and for hope, eternal promising light, for life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing. All praise to the source of being. Baruch atah Adonai, mekor nefesh kol chai. Blessed are you, Adonai, the source of life of all living beings. So, I lit these candles today after lighting the Shabbat candles because I needed some flames in the space. And between moving the Shabbat candles and lighting different ones, I decided for this one. There is a meditation practice that was established by Rabbi Kalonimos Shapiro, who lived in Poland at the very wrong time. He wrote about 3 books, and maybe he wrote more, but those 3 survived. And in his books, he's describing the spiritual life of himself and his community. And there is one practice that is called hashkata. Sheket means quiet. And everybody who ever took a Hebrew class knows that, because we always say sheket b'vakasha. And hashkata means to quiet someone. And Ida is going to go now. That is our way of quieting the space. Hashkata is something people could do when they were nervous and stressed out. And let me, for a moment, just switch off the light. The elements of this practice went like this. You would sit in the dark and you would light a candle. And then there were 4 steps. First, you would just look into the flames of the candle and acknowledge everything there is inside of you. Whatever thoughts come to mind, they're there. Say hello. The second step is to recite a verse of Torah. And I brought you one from Proverbs. Ner Adonai nishmat Adam, chofes kol chadrei vaten. My soul is the flame of God that searches in my inner chambers. Then you would formulate a question for God, a plead. Please help me to strengthen this and that, generosity, love, or compassion. And then you would chant. So before diving into well-known words and well-known melodies, I wanted to invite you to do just that. Look at the candles. Acknowledge what is going on in your inner chamber. I will recite the verse for you. You will formulate your wish to God, and then we will sing together. נר אדוני נשמת אדם, חופש כל חדרי בטן. נר אדוני נשמת אדם, חופש כל חדרי בטן. My soul is the flame of God that searches my inner chambers. My soul is the flame of God that searches my inner chambers. Kol Adonai nishmat Adam, chofes kol chadrei vaten. נר אדוני נשמת אדם, חופש כל חדרי בטן. נר אדוני נשמת אדם, חופש כל חדרי בטן. 29, page 136.
Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, dai, havul Adonai, bein elim, havul Adonai, kavod va'oz, havul Adonai, kevod shemos, havul Adonai, behadra chodesh, kol Adonai, amayim rabim, kol Yai, dai, dai, kol Adonai, behadar, kol Adonai, shover hazerim, ve'shaber Adonai, et arzei havanon, yarkedem kimo, egel Lebanon, ve'sirion, Kemo veremi, yai dai dai, kol Adonai, chotzev lavodesh, kol Adonai, yachel midbar, kol Adonai, midbar kadesh, kol Adonai, yechol elot, yechaso, Shalom. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, yai, dai, yai, dai.
138, Lecha Dodi, beloved, come, 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 to meet the bride. Beloved, come, 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 to greet Shabbat.
Lecha Dodi, Likran Kala, Panei Shabbat, Nekabela, Shamor V'Zachor, Bedibur Echad, Ishmiyanu, El Hamiuchad, Adonai Echad, Ushemo Echad, Leshimul Tiferet, Velitila, Lechad Odi, Likran Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela, Likrat Shabbat, Lechu Venilcha, Ki Mechor HaBracha, Merosh Mekedem, Nesucha Sof Ma'aseh, V'machshava Tekila Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela, Lekat Dodi, Likat Kala, Yadadai, 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 Penei Shabbat, Nekabela, Lekat Dodi, Likat Kala. yadadai, 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 b'nai Shabbat, b'nai Kabbalah, hitoreri, kiva ore, kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, vod Adonai Elohim gila, lecha dodi likat kala, yadadai, 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 b'nai Shabbat, b'nai Kabbalah, lecha dodi likat kala, yadadai, 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 b'nai Shabbat, b'nai Kabbalah.
בואי והשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
Lecha dodi alikrat kala, yadadai, 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 b'nai Shabbat, b'nai Kabbalah. Lecha dodi alikrat kala, yadadai, 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 b'nai Shabbat, b'nai Kabbalah.
This is a little like a chamber music concert. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, לשמך עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, ואמונתך בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני. It is good to praise God, to be thankful to God, and to acknowledge that God exists. All those words and meanings are encapsulated in the lehodot. To thank, to praise, and simply to acknowledge. This is not for you to answer out loud, but I was wondering when I was telling you that your soul is like the light of God, to search the inner chambers of your heart, or belly, as the rabbis would say. What would good God see in the light of this candle, a soul candle in a slightly different meaning? What is deep inside you, in the darkness of your stomach and belly, heart, muscles? What do you hold that God would see deep down in there? And maybe we can rise for the Barcho on page 146 with the sense of being lightened up inside, not to encounter a God who's outside of us, but to say hello to the God inside of you, looking at the deepest core of what is you. Page 146, greeting God.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Please be seated.
And read with me page 149. This is the hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? 148.
Baruch et Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. El chai vekayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim.
One of us is on an interesting and deeply enriching path of learning, and that is Katya. She's taking a class on being a prayer leader. And this week we talked about the blessings and psalms and the way we say them, only the beginning and the end. This is not, by the way, Dafka, because I'd be lazy. I might be lazy, but that's a different conversation. But what this is the standard Ashkenazi minhag to pray these texts. We say the first verse, they give space to the prayers to pray on their own path, and then we collect everybody again at the ending. In a Sephardi or Israeli synagogue, you pray all the words from the beginning to end, which significantly prolongs the service. But is also really beautiful because one of the Sephardi customs is to sing the entire Song of Songs from the very first word to the very last words, every chapter, every Friday night, as a sort of second Lecha Dodi, come bride, come. On the notion of coming, committing, gifting and loving, page 150, Ahavat Olam, with eternal love have you gifted us your greatest gift, the Torah.
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavtanu, Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Ahavtanu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Adonai Eloheinu. How deeply you have loved us. How How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Adonai Eloheinu. Ahavat olam.
אהבת עולם,
Ahavat olam.
אהבת עולם,
Ahavat olam.
אהבת עולם,
אהבתנו. 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 אדוני
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Exactly. 152.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
It's actually an interesting practice to just imagine every time, instead of saying emet or amen, we would say exactly. This is how it is. Let's affirm it. I also want to share with you today we are Tiberian Jews. In Tiberias, they would read the Torah in the presence of only 7. And today we're 7, plus all the people on Zoom. But anyways, Tiberias is a beautiful place, so let's support their custom. This is the moment of the sermon. And in my head, the problem is I'm always writing these sermons as if I would speak to 3,000 people. And it's not quite, it might feel a little inappropriate at times, so I apologize. I did want to share with you that last November, on the 8th of November, and we had set that date in our calendars many weeks before that, which is not so surprising for my part, but it's surprising knowing with whom I had this coffee date, and that was with Rabbi Ed. We sat at Wild Joe's. It was the day after the election, and I looked at Rabbi Ed, who was out of his mind on that night, on that day, and I listened to a lot of his greatest fears and greatest worries. And then I asked him, what do you think the topics should be that we as a community and I as a rabbi should focus on during the years to come? And he gave me a list, an ashkara, bullet point list that I wrote down. It's on a little sticky note on the computer screen that I never use in my office. So it's a good place for that sticky note. And it says, immigration, LGBTQI rights, diversity and inclusion when it comes to Native Americans, Black Americans, women, and Jews, the earth as herself, and the topic of health insurance, especially mental health. We are 1 week into a new presidency, and it is as if everything that Rabbi Ed wanted me to focus about was all happening at the very same time, every day, every single hour. And I have given myself a task, and that task that I gave myself in November was to not give up reading the news and to actually make an attempt to read about the things that are going on as they're happening so that I am up to date and not just like somewhere tone deaf with my back to the room staring at the wall. So this is the hour of change. Shall we cross over? It's an hour of large-scale change. In the Torah, this is the beginning of the Exodus. And as in the Torah, we can clearly see change is very unsettling. Change always means that some people who felt very safe suddenly see all their safeties disappear. It also means that some people who have felt very unsafe, apparently, now feel much safer. That's just how it is. But it's always hard when you used to be the ones feeling safe, and suddenly you're thrown out into this hour of change, and everything becomes vague and shaky, and you have no idea what you're going to wake up for tomorrow. When Rashi speaks about the Exodus, he gets stuck on a verse that says, and the Israelites went up to the desert, Chamushim. And there's a lot of discussions about what is this Chamushim, and there's like, the ways that they walked, and fifth, because Chamesh means five, or it has to do with the kind of weapons they were wearing. And he looks at it and he says, what this means is only a fifth actually went. The others died during the 9th plague in the darkness and loneliness of their houses because they weren't ready to leave. They didn't want to jump in the waters. They didn't want to begin the journey. They didn't want to leave what they've known. They wanted things to stay the same, so they couldn't be a part of an hour of change. So God put them to sleep, and they never woke up again. It's a weird thing to think about. Only a fifth. What does it mean that maybe only a fifth of us have an ability to get ready and adapt when things are changing? In addition to that little fifth of Israelites that left, we also know about the Erev Rav, a mingling of various nations who had become proselytes, as Rashi also says on this verse, Exodus 12:38. So who are we here in the desert? A bunch of Israelites, fifth of us, who were ready for an hour of change and wanted to take a chance to jump and see what would happen if we leave A behind and jump into B, not knowing what it is. And a couple of people who had even less of a clue what would lay in front of them, and who simply felt that what they left behind was so awful, they didn't even care what they were walking into, because the God of their fathers was not the God of their fathers. They were just an unknown pillar that they were following at the horizon. These people, this fifth, they are witnessing in this Torah portion a strange Pharaoh, a man that rules differently, ruled by power, thriving to win power games. They see the plagues, one hardship after the other that strikes a different kind of population, but sometimes These people are people we love. They witness. And we do not know how much trust they actually develop. Surely they develop a sense that this is the hour of change. The pendulum of time and power was swinging. Here's what I think helped this 1/5 of people. What helped was to focus on one thing, and that was to get out of it. These people saw the country that they've lived in all their lives fall into pieces. It changed so radically that it was barely recognizable anymore. They realized that it was time to leave. Here's a thing you need to do, and the Torah is amicably straightforward about it. When times are changing, when waters are swirling, you need to make yourself steadfast. No one gets helped if you jump right in. Then you drown. You can be a hero, but nothing will happen. You need to make sure that you stand on solid grounds. Make sure you are as little vulnerable as you can. Then walk into the water and find the people who will walk with you. It might not be the people you've been hanging out with so far. Maybe it's only 1/5 of them, but maybe that's okay. Question every step you take. Walk very slowly. We know this about Nachshon ben Aminadav. He walked slowly and he watched the waters rising. Test the ground. Make sure you stand firmly. Help others who might become shaky. And then just trust and cross over. This week's Torah portion carries 2 sentences that describe a Passover ritual to this day. It's the ritual of the 4 cups. And every cup has a name. And every name is one step towards redemption. And it speaks about a 4-step process that we can take, every single one of us, in an hour of radical change when we have to cross over. Here they are. The first cup of Kiddush, sanctification, separation, focus. It's a recipe for change. Say, therefore, to the Israelite people, I am Adonai. Number 1, I will free you from the labors of the Egyptians and deliver you from their bondage. Separation. From this, the rabbis learned, don't look left and right. Don't do what they tell you to do. Figure out what you are supposed to be liberated for, what it is that you want to be doing. Second, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and through extraordinary chastisements. Hatzalah, deliverance, trust, and change. Keep walking. Only when the waters will reach your chin will you see eventually them parting. Number 3, and I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God, and you shall know that I, Adonai, am your God, who freed you from the labors of the Egyptian. Geulah, community. You will not reach the other side by yourself. There will be people stepping with you in the waters. 4, and I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I will give it to you for a possession, I, Adonai, the cup of tikvah, of hope. We will change, and it will be good enough again. Just to repeat, focus, learn how to trust, find your community, be hopeful. I had a teacher in religious school who was a little elderly, and so he repeated the same thing all over again. And it was very annoying at times, but the good thing about this is that it really stuck. I didn't forget that one thing that I learned over and over from him. And he always used to say, you know, it's called cherut, not chofesh. It's called freedom to, not freedom of. Focus on what you want to be liberated for, and then start walking. Shabbat Shalom. 158. Mi chamocha, walking together into the sea as community towards redemption. Oh.
It's not a new one. Richard will know it. This is call and response style. Mi chamocha Ba'alim Adonai, Ba'alim Adonai, Mi kamocha, Ne'adar ba'kodesh, Nora, Malchutecha, Ra'u v'necha, Bokeyam, Lifnei Moshe v'Miriam, Zeli, Anu Adonai lo, Leolam vayeh.
Wrapping ourselves in that tender sense of being held on the way towards redemption. Veshamu, page 162.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. B'nei Uvein, B'nei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Oti le'olam. Veshamru, B'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam barit olam. Ki sheshat yamim, Asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam barit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Please rise, page 164, the silent prayer, whether you want to look inside or outside is up to you to decide. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 180. Ose Shalom.
Say shalom bimromav, say shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Israel, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel.
Page 167. Some perished by fire, some by water. Some crossed the sea or watered the desert. Some starved all week to make a Shabbat feast. Some were left childless until old age. Some lifted their chins beneath a father's knife. Those who came before us gave everything so that we, generations later, could glorify you. And despite the dangers, with your protection, some did survive and even flourished. Some reaped in joy, were spared the knife, were granted children. We are their inheritors, O God, and we know how rare is our good fortune to be born to such hard-won treasures. A great responsibility is ours, and yours as well. For if you do not sustain us, as you did Abraham and Sarah, Rebekah and Isaac, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, then who will sing your praises? Who will lift their chins, as we do now, to sanctify your name? Baruch atah Adonai, pokeach Sarah umogen Avraham. Please be seated. I do not know too much, to be honest, about people in this community who are healing. I know that Janelle's foot, hopefully, is coming. It's getting better. I know that Wendy Marcus is on her way home from quite a large surgery back into a new chapter of her life. And there are others that you know about that we should think at this hour. And you maybe too. Mishabach l'cholim. For anyone who feels anxious, for anyone who feels restless, for anyone who feels confused and does not know what to focus on, may you find a hashkata, a way to calm your heart and clear your eyes. 371.
Mi sheberak avoteinu makor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberak limotenu makor habracha lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Please rise for the mourner's Kaddish. I do want to say it feels like an obligation. Last week I thought, oh, let's sing Hallel, because 4 women came home and it was amazing. And this week, for those of you who wanted to see these pictures, we saw pictures of men wearing masks, going into villages, burning down cars, and killing civilians. And those men wearing masks, this was us. Page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון וביום חון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יש לאמרה בה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. May your name be sanctified, may your name be blessed. May peace come, may the road to peace be sturdy and fortified, so that no one can disturb it when one day it decides to settle in our midst. Page 627, for the ability to hold all the joy, all the tenderness and love, and at the same time look at pain and look at the truth of this world unafraid and with empathy.
Shalom Aleichem, Malakei Asharei, Malakei Elyon, Mimele, Malkei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yokem LeShalom, Malakei Ashalom, Malakei Elyon, Mimele, Malkei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni LeShalom, Malakei Ashalom, Malakei Elyon, Mimelech, Malkei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedkem LeShalom, Malakei Ashalom, Malakei Elyon, Mimelech, Malkei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Please be seated. This is one of these melodies where I always wish the song would be 10 times as long because I just want to keep singing and singing and singing and singing. Maybe we should just sing it 3 times. There's a custom like this. We just like, then we have 12 verses. Okay, so please wrap yourself in this light of truth because truth, I truly believe, eventually shall bring peace. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and protect you. May God wrap you in layers upon layers of calmness, peacefulness, and protection. May you feel safe enough to learn everything there is to learn for you. And may you walk never alone in the right direction. Page 157. Od yavo shalom aleinu. There will be peace upon us.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Ha'olam. Salam, Shalom, Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
And in this mess, it's a good thing some things are reliably happening. Tomorrow morning at 9:30, there's Torah study. Stephen Eagle is leading, and I'm thinking if the snow keeps on falling, it might be on Zoom, but okay, good. So we're in person. We're done with snow. 2 p.m. We are meeting with the women's group. This This one is a little bit of me stepping in uncomfortable waters. If you want to witness this, you are invited on Zoom or in person. On Sunday, Marnie here is teaching Yiddish. I encouraged her very strongly to send me a picture and describe the Yiddish class so that we can attract some more people to this happening. Mahjong is happening Mondays and Fridays. Next Friday, we're meeting here in the community hall for dinner and Torah study around the table. And then we're on for another week. Shabbat Shalom, 25 hours of breathing in and most important, breathing out. Light a candle, take some time, look inside, deep breath. I want to remind you, Shabbat has this wonderful tradition to unplug. Maybe that's a thing to do, and maybe not, and that's okay too. Shabbat Shalom.